morning. It's great to be here again. Actually, we are the partner of Decentralized for the second time, and I see the agenda is rapidly growing, so it's great to be again and provide you with the update where we are with our Azure blockchain story. So my name is Lukasz Foks. I lead the Azure product marketing for Central and Eastern Europe, and we are constantly investing into the blockchain space. We are extremely optimistic. Next week we do have a big Microsoft Unite conference where we announce a lot of great announcements, and I would love to use the opportunity to talk to you today to give you the update, literally where we are and what's coming. And we are here with a quite big team. And in case you want to discuss like any POCs, how we are seeing the projects together with our partners and customers, definitely talk to us. And I know that the session is recorded, so always refer to azure.com, where we do have a direct contact to our sales specialists, customer success managers, and also cloud solution architects. And with that, of course, there is no day with a big headline, a big news around blockchain. And I went through the articles which I've seen recently, and all of those are referring to that holy grail which we are all chasing, and how to implement all of those great advantages and features in the real enterprise environments. And it seems that Forbes even said that 2009, it's the year of enterprise blockchain. And we've seen like increased number of asks coming out of biggest customers, how I could embrace the opportunity coming out of blockchain and how we can partner and leverage all of those opportunities. So, of course, we know that's a quite complex challenge, but business is done like it used to be. Plenty of players, vendors, suppliers, customers, at the end who have to establish the trust within each other. And we believe that's the amazing opportunity when it comes to blockchain projects in the enterprise space, just to get rid of those well-known issues and problems which are repeating across all of those talks which you will see today. So get rid of intermediaries who are having and adding extra cost when it comes to the time of the processes. Also, they cost a lot when it comes to what kind of fee at the end they are charging those enterprises whom they are helping. And of course, there is a manual verification. Recently, I tried to claim the insurance. It was like beginning of September. I'm still waiting to my documents to be verified. It's like super tough process, as there are many discussions then with all of those players, and definitely it's not we cannot avoid the errors in those. And how to really leverage the challenge and those problems. So we do believe that that's the right direction, to use and position blockchain as a way to streamline how the trust at the end is established. So blockchain, of course, is at the heart of everything what we will see today. We learned through the Bitcoin that's interesting, very IP-intensive cryptographic way to commit and at the end prove the monetary value, but also we should look at on the protocol level and try to deploy the same level of structures in the way of, for example, exchange the information also to those challenges which are across all of those parts and kind of organizations which you can see on the right side of the slide. So we started our blockchain journey back in 2014, where we tried to send a set of engineers to help and contribute to several open source projects. And throughout those years, we learned that those applications are mainly around three areas. So it's all about asset transfer. So to be able to see where is particular asset, what's the journey, what's the state of that asset, and when it will reach the desired state. Also, it's all about workflow applications. And I personally see that literally 90% of the projects which we are discussing are in that field, how to use blockchain for the workload-based applications. And of course, at the end, it's all about trust. It's all about using the benefits of that flow to get rid of manual audits and build the high compliance as a part of those solutions. And the most important fact is that blockchain is not limited to a single industry. There are players who are saying that blockchain is only for those highly tech-intensive companies, but we are trying to work with the companies across those industries, which you can see on the slide, to literally address those challenges through solutions which you will see today. At the end, there's always a question how to fund those projects, as they are very resource intensive. So I believe it's good to assess the opportunity cost, which is the case for today, and try to size the total cost of ownership of those processes which we are currently having. At the end, it's all about trying to reduce that cost, increase the speed of those transactions and processes which are happening, and of course mitigate the risk. There are research agencies who are like very bold when it comes to sizing that opportunity. My beloved report is coming out of Gartner, and definitely there will be a link in my presentation where you can learn more. And we've got an interesting case which we've landed. That's like a solution which is also publicly available as a case study, and you can read through the details. But all of those tasks, all of those challenges were addressed there. So Starbucks came to us and they shared the challenge that they need to increase the visibility across what's happening across their vast supply chain. And that was an interesting project because there was an interesting aspect of having a good aspect in it. So they tried to report back more details to their farmers and also to end customers to show that literally that bean, which is like coming across the journey, is truly sustainable, and it's at the end coming from that particular vendor and from that particular supplier. So here is the entire like value prop. So farmers were able even to claim like deferences that they've been using to claim new credit lines. They've been able to really prove that they are working with Starbucks. For Starbucks, it was the interesting value to literally optimize that vast supply chain, but also increase the visibility or the provenance of their products which they're using to produce end product. And for customers who are more and more conscious about from where those beans are coming, there was a very simple app where they've been able to see that entire chain or read more about specific kind of beans and even what kind of methods are used by those farmers. And for us, the blockchain is all about cloud. Back in 2015, we've started with first services, which were generally available with enterprise grade. Those weren't like the experiments, and we spent those 4 years to add more and more puzzles as single cloud services, but also we know that that's a highly intense project on the developer side. So we released, for example, like free Visual Studio code app to be able to quicker deploy and create those smart contracts. And the end, currently we're having dozens of case studies, and I added those also to the attachment to the deck. From developer point of view, who are also joining the Decentralized event, it's all about building quickly the infrastructure. So Azure Blockchain Service is a way to literally in a few clicks set entire infrastructure for your blockchain projects. Then devs could use the free IDE called Visual Studio Code with extensions even created by the community to author and test those smart contracts. At the end, you have also like the solutions like Azure Blockchain Workbench, where you can easily test your solution in a kind of POC, test and dev environment, and then scale to your productive environment. When it comes what kind of cases you can find currently, those are customers with whom we have, again, like solutions which are literally deployed currently. Those are not POCs, and we do have like dozens of partners who are helping us and customers in the journey, and I've seen many of them actually join Decentralized as partners, so definitely talk to them what kind of stories on their side when it comes to Azure Blockchain Service. So ABS, it's all about three things. We want to simplify the development. I've said like for the infrastructure, it's literally a few clicks. Then you are able to quickly adjust the workflows. For example, there is a graphical UI where you can adjust the workflow. You don't have to open Visual Studio Code and literally do the dev stuff there. You can, in a drag and drop UI, adjust the flow of your workflow. And at the end, we are extremely obsessed about adding new services. And again, next week we will have a set of great announcements coming out of Ignite, and we'll add more and more services in that field. And it's all about also showing that you can come as you are with your beloved frameworks, with your beloved technologies. We are constantly hiring like engineers who are having a background in open source. I checked this morning. how many job postings we do have with hashtag open source. It's more than 400, and I see that we learned a lot we learned a lot in partnering with those open source communities and trying to also have their feedback when it comes to what we should do in terms of those services. So in a nutshell, at the end, blockchain service is a fully managed ledger service. So we know that the process of building the blockchain-based solution and application is vast. Those are all of the steps which we identified together with our customers, and even that pre-work even requires sometimes a year just to identify what kind of puzzles in the infrastructure you should connect. And we came to the idea that definitely we want to empower our customers and allow them to be much more flexible, use very simple UI, which will allow them to set a very flexible network using few clicks to set the network, add the nodes even which are not sitting in Azure, add the members, set the policies. At the end also to be able to see if all of those nodes are running without like doing very advanced DevOps stuff, but going to Azure portal and seeing those options. The interesting fact is the blockchain ops network governance in that field. So in case you will then continue with exploring those services, you will see that literally there is a dedicated, very simple UI to govern your network. Then you are able to also see the status of your networks. That's the screenshot coming out of Azure portal. And also the big value of that service is that that's a platform as a service solution. So you don't have to like really be bothered what's inside and also at the back end of that network, because you are showered and we are providing literally the enterprise grade SLA. So you are rather trying to connect the dots, not bother with the infrastructure. Of course, you could connect with networks which are having nodes in on-premise solutions, either in other clouds. You can start small with Workbench, where you will be able to prototype quickly. And again, if you are like a fan of Truffle, Solidity, MetaMask, you will find all of those technologies supported. And the important fact is that we are like ledger agnostic. We are working with those companies and communities which you can see on the slide, just to allow you to be a first-class citizen with your beloved kind of ledger. We opened a private preview for Corda. You can sign up on the link there, and we are going to have more resources to help you with POCs. In case you are not a developer, like I said, you can use Flow to connect the frameworks. If you are a developer, there is a free tool to develop those smart contracts. At the end, those case studies and all of those learnings are available right now. There are many cases. Maersk is one of my favorite because there is an entire GitHub repo for that solution. And at the end, it was like a very simple task to increase the visibility across the boats which are traveling across the oceans in case they are like going to the danger zone. Automatically through smart contracts, there is a new insurance issued at the end. And it was all done in a kind of very simple network. I know there are many details and the slides are going to be available after the talk, but the very important fact is that we try to prepare a set of technical content which will be ready for you, and those are the links which you could explore further. And there is a Azure Blockchain documentation on docs.microsoft.com, which is the technical part. There are many great sessions with our Azure CTO, who is on the stage together with Ethereum founder, and they are talking about how ABS is supporting Ethereum. And again, download the deck. You will find all of those resources which are mentioned there. We are here as a big team. Talk to us, and again, enjoy and join us in that quest. And in case you have any questions, ping me over Twitter, either LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lukasz.